Good morning, almost afternoon. I've been out of the garden just checking things out, and yesterday I ordered a lot of seed to make for January, February when I get bored and to grow out here. But let me tell you what I'm going to do. This was a veggie garden, and I'm going to turn it back into a veggie garden next year. I had some flowers that I had never grown before, so I was excited about putting them in somewhere. So I did put dahlias and zinnias, and there's a marigold, volunteer marigold, and the osteospermum is starting to bloom. She's really a dark purple and really pretty. I'll get closer to it in a minute. Put beans in late because my spinach and my lettuce was here, and once it was all done, I put in some beans, and they're growing good. They're getting blooms on them already, and so we should have beans in a couple weeks or so. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, who knows. This plant was a volunteer from last year. This Matt's cherry plant. It's got tons and tons of strawberries. No, not strawberries, little tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes on it. So, and I tied it up today because it was way out over the strawberry plot and all that. So, okay, the zinnias are doing good. I put a fence up back here. I had to fence up the marigold a little bit because it was flopping. And I think the Japanese beetles have got to this a little bit because I keep having to cut them off. This one looks like it's going to get away with blooming. And let's see, lots of pretty zinnias. And I put this in here, like a week ago, and it's not very happy, but I think it's about done. We've had some really, really hot weather with indexes of like 116 for a week or two now. But there's my celosia. It's doing good there, so I'm just going to leave it. You got a good look at it. Yeah, it's happy there, so I'll leave it and I'll mess with it. And so let me get my clippers correct in my hand. I'm sorry if I'm shaking this too much, but see, little mimosa trees growing everywhere. But that's all right. My dahlias are doing good. This one just keeps getting taller. I hope nothing's wrong with it. I hope it buds. It should. It looks healthy. I don't really see any problems with it. I found a webworm or two on it, and I tried to find some information on it to see what it does as an adult. So these are just stayed little, and I think because the sunflowers are in their way of the sun. But I'm going to take, let me show you this first. The really pretty bloom that has. It's so pretty. The osteospermum. I just learned how to say that. I would get confused and call it all kinds of things. But this is a 12 by 12 plot. And I'm going to turn it back into veggie garden. So the beans and the lettuce and the spinach and the cold weather plants can come in, and then I'll do beans and my tomatoes and whatever else I decide in the spring to do. And then these strawberries that grow like crazy started out with like 10 plants like 10 years ago, and I'm constantly digging up, giving them given away. But I'm going to take a 1.5 foot on each side of this 12 by 12 plot and make my veggie garden bigger and also my flower garden bigger. So, yep. And then, look at the sunflowers. They're starting to bloom. They're really pretty. This one, we thought it was like 10 foot tall, like, I don't know, last week. And it just keeps growing. It's so tall. Crazy tall. But once some are all in bloom, I will do a video to show you or take pictures because they're pretty. I have lots of sunflowers that grow and I just pull them out and leave the ones where I want them. So I'm kind of sorry I left so many along the side of this garden, but it's done and I'm letting them grow because they are pretty. And I got, instead of big boys or beefsteak this year for tomatoes, because usually that's what I grow, because we all love those and they grow really well here. I got Rugers. This is an old time variety and they have put on so many tomatoes. They're a little more meatier, but the flavor is wonderful. They're doing good in this heat. So I just keep them watered. But I have lilies back here and they're all done for the season. My Colossus is, as long as I keep the dead ones cut back, they keep blooming. The purple cone flowers, they've seen better days, but I just leave them. They still add color. I put the snapdragons all in this container, and I know they're supposed to be like, what, 18 inches apart or something, but that's all right. They've bloomed, they've been beautiful, and they're starting to look really good in here. I did this last week. I put them all in together, so we'll see what happens. And my cosmos getting tall and pretty, and I've been trying to keep an eye on them. I think that's just pieces of the mimosa trees, but and then there's my kitties like to, especially Lucy, likes to lay in my garden and hide in here, and she laid on one of the cosmos early on. And I was going to stand it up, put a stick on it and stand it up. Well, I realized it's rooted in. It's rooting in at the stems. So we'll see what happens there. That's a little Sweet William, that little leftover that grew another plant, and it decided to bloom. These Sweet Williams are so pretty in the spring. I'll have to show you pictures of when this was all in bloom and fresh and pretty. This is a garden dahlia that I did from seed. It's not very big bloom, but it's pretty. And I kind of just testing some things that I've never grown before this year. And this, my chrysanthemum, I got it up at the little grocery store, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and had it sitting out on the front deck on the table, and it finally just, you know, once it was done blooming, it looked dead, you know, but I thought, well, I'm just gonna put it in the ground. But now it's grown back, and every year it grows, and it will bloom in the fall. It's all white, but it's pretty and it's full. So, and a couple zinnias. I had some extra seed, so I just threw them out front here. And I have coleus. It's getting ready to bloom. And I did take some off the tops of these a while back, put them in a pot, and they're growing new ones. So I'll be planting some. I've got some, I have some ceramics and stuff from a friend. She was moving her mother out of the house, and she gave us a ton of, I think she collected pictures, you know, like gravy pitchers and water pitchers and the such. I've got the right, I got a little drill, and I'm going to drill holes in the bottom and make a lot of them out of planters, little planters. So I have places. I mean, I have an idea about what to do with those. And this is the strawberry patch. It's a 12 by 12. Each one of these are 12 by 12. But I'm going to cut back. I'm going to dig up the strawberries about 1.5 feet in on this side and 1.5 feet in on this side, and make my veggie garden bigger and my flower garden bigger. And then I'm going to kind of redo the strawberries because they're so thick that when they grow, they're still really good and they produce a lot of strawberries. But since they're so thick, they are small. Strawberries are small, and usually they will grow pretty big. They're usually a big, sweet strawberry. So I'll be handing out strawberry plants pretty soon. And I have a black-eyed Susan over there. It was beautiful, and it's starting to die back. I need to prune it and see if it'll come back in a couple weeks. But it's been a beautiful. I knew it was growing there, and I just let it grow. So that's fine. I don't mind having flowers all the way in the back. I don't mind flowers at all. In fact, they could all go flowers. But I like the veggies too, because it's we like our tomatoes and beans and stuff we get from the garden, and the lettuce is always good, and the spinach. And this is a couple cherry trees. This is a tart tree. As you can see, it's small. It's done its time, because the big Bing tree, the big massive Bing tree, is overshadowing it and doesn't get much sunlight. I mean, it will produce, but it's so high up that my husband won't let me get a big enough ladder to get up there to get them. But they make the best cherry pies. We do have a volunteer that's growing. So when we cut this down or cut it back, I don't know what we'll do. We might try cutting it back and see if it'll grow some leaves down low, because there are some leaves down low. We might just cut it back a little bit and see what happens. So, and yes, this is our brush pile. You know, I think most people have a brush pile that does yard work, and we just put it here until either we burn a lot of it or take it to the landfill. So, or take it, there's a spot here in town where you can take your brush and stuff, and they take care of it. They chip it up, actually, not really landfill. So they chip it up and make mulch out of it. So it's doing a good thing. And yes, I've had my share of Japanese beetles. So I got these bags, and a lot of people say, oh no, don't do that, I'll bring in, and it's brought in. I guess they say they will come from a 10-mile radius to these lures. And but we have caught so many, and my neighbors and the whole neighborhood probably loves it because they don't have any. They're all here. And I have one on each side of the garden, one here, and also 2 over my cherry trees. And I think the lures are starting to get a little bit weak, because this morning I've seen more Japanese beetles on my plants than I have in a long time. So I will take care of them and put them in there with their relatives, their brothers and sisters and all that. They could go in there. They can't get out because it's too slick. They have to have porous material to be able to get out. So it works. Excuse me. So, and another thing I was looking at too, not only will it cut back on the strawberries and redo them, but I'm thinking about bringing this out a little more and put a little curve in my flower garden. Maybe you can see this part here. There's a mimosa tree right there, and I could bring it out like this, and kind of right under the tree a little bit, and then back around and line it back up with this. I think that would be a nice addition, because I do have a lot of seed coming. I have some coneflowers, some salvia. I have butterfly bushes. I have the green twister, which is very cool, coneflower. Gazinias. I'll show you when I get them in. I will do a video and show you all the seed I'll have for next spring. And right now, I can't wait. I can't wait. So, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with some of my some of the hostas that I put in. There's a hosta in here. This is their first year though, so I'm gonna give them another year and see what happens next year when they grow, if they'll grow bigger. I'm hoping they do. I think they will. I've been very good to them. And let's see, these are all petunias and catnip and lavender. And there's a cactus. I had 5 beautiful silk yellow roses, like silk. They look like silk roses on here this year, and it was his first year. A friend of mine gave me like 5 pieces, and all you do is basically lay it on the ground and it'll grow, you know. So I was surprised that it actually bloomed this year. I was so happy. It was so beautiful. And my poor aphid. There, you know what? There is a great big spider. Oh, I don't know what to do. Let me get a swatter. Hopefully I can get him before you leave. I just do not like spiders, especially great big ones like that. Let me turn this off.
Harley's 000 event. 0 cash down. 0.
Okay. Hopefully he don't jump at me. If I do, I'll probably be screaming. Is he still there? Yes. Oh man, he's running. I don't know where he went. Maybe he'll go hide somewhere. And not be seen by me, because, you know. But anyway, let's get back to this. hibiscus. I hope it blooms. It's so full of aphids, and I've been fighting them for the last couple months on this. And this is the eardrum, and it's a perennial. I'm hoping it'll do better next year. Sometimes perennials, when you put them in, you gotta wait a year or two for them to do what they're supposed to do. So, and then I got bugleweed. I got some old super tunias that I took out of the front, and I just put them in there all together. They look kind of sad, and I just wanted something fresh in there. And my lilac bush, it'll be cut back this fall too, along with our cedar trees. They need to be cut back, and we're gonna make some room so we can get the mower back in there, because the vines are just outrageous, wrapping around the trees. And we have mulberry trees in there. There's everything in there. It's like if you go in there, in between those trees, you'll feel like you're in the woods. Them things are like 15 foot around, if not more, or the span of them. The span is like 15 foot. That's crazy. Here's Mr. Cardinal. Hi, Mr. Cardinal. Hi. He says, I like your cedar trees. Yeah. Yeah, see how far it goes back? Pretty large. So anyway, we can get them under control and make the yard look a lot nicer and bigger. So this is, that's my plans. I have plans for the front as well. I'm going to redo it. So I'll do another video for it later. But it's starting to get really hot. Tomorrow we're supposed to cool down, thank goodness. So I'll be a little peppier tomorrow. So y'all have a good day. Stay cool wherever you're at. Or if you're having beautiful weather, then good for you. Get out and enjoy it. Thanks for listening. If you like my videos, you want to support me, please share, like, subscribe. This spring, this fall should be exciting with everything that we'll be doing, and I think you'll like it. So have a great day, everyone.